Chapter 1. The story begins with a grim picture of the apocalypse. For a whole year, humanity has suffered crushing defeats at the hands of demons. Almost all people are either dead or turned into living vessels for horrific creatures. The survivors fight to the last, but it's only delaying the inevitable. At the center of this tragedy stands humanity's last warrior, Zephyr, a legendary hero and the final hope of resistance. He is exhausted, his body covered in wounds, and his sword has long since dulled from endless battles. Before him stands Tartaros, the Demon King, a mighty being whose mere gaze inspires terror and despair. Even Zephyr's best efforts are futile. Tartaros is so powerful that he effortlessly deflects all attacks. Yet the Demon King is in no rush to kill him. Instead, he heals Zephyr's wounds and offers a conversation. Tartaros mocks the hero's weakness, but also acknowledges his strength. Not every mortal has the honor of lasting this long. In fact, the Demon King even remembers Zephyr's name, an unheard-of luxury for a mere human warrior. Tartaros makes an offer. Zephyr can abandon this futile struggle, join the demon army, and conquer other worlds alongside them, including the realm of the gods. The Demon King believes that the strong should rule over the weak, and hopes Zephyr understands that. The hero pretends to be interested. He reaches out his hand as if accepting the offer, but inside his heart burns with hatred. Zephyr knows that Tartaros is simply amusing himself, watching a broken human kneel before him after losing everything. But as their hands clasp, Zephyr activates his final spell, Explosion Curse, instantly severing the Demon King's arm. A deafening blast engulfs them both. In that moment, Zephyr accepts his fate. He knows he has lost, but at least he has struck a blow that Tartaros will never forget. And then, the hero dies. Zephyr regains consciousness in an unknown place. His wounds are healed, and his armor looks brand new. He glances around in confusion and notices grand statues he has never seen before. At first, he assumes he has arrived in the afterlife, but that idea is soon proven wrong. Before him appears a beautiful winged woman, Mercedes, a high-ranking angel. She has come to deliver the will of the gods. The angel tells him that, at the request of 3 gods, he has been granted a second chance. He is being sent back in time. This means he can change the outcome of the battle. However, there is one condition. Zephyr will return without his skills and physical endurance, but he will retain all his memories. The hero doubts the gods' good intentions. He remembers how humanity begged them for help, yet the heavens remained indifferent. Even the priests, who once wielded divine power, were abandoned. But then, Mercedes reveals the true reason for his return. The gods enjoyed watching him. They had been entertained by his struggle for 5 years, treating it as a spectacle. They took pleasure in his desperate resistance. In fact, near the end, they even helped him slightly. His luck had increased. This truth enrages the hero. He unleashes a surge of mana, attacking the angel. He remembers how he and his beloved fought desperately, simply because they wanted to live. And yet, to the gods, it was just entertainment. But Mercedes effortlessly neutralizes his attack. She explains that he is the only one who interests the gods, while humanity itself holds no value to them. It's simple. If he proves his worth, he can get anything he desires, for himself or for all of mankind. Moreover, it turns out that his return was not only initiated by the gods, but also by Tartaros himself. The Demon King couldn't accept the fact that a mere mortal had wounded him so severely. Because of his pride, he wants to replay the scenario. Zephyr is stunned to learn that he's being given this chance for such a petty, selfish reason. Mercedes asks if he will accept the offer. Filled with hatred, Zephyr agrees. If Tartaros desires to meet him again so badly, then he will grant that wish and kill him for real this time. The transfer to the past begins. The time and place of his arrival are random, but Jafir will have enough time to regain his strength. Additionally, the gods grant him a gift to make his path slightly easier. He will be able to check it immediately upon arrival. With revenge against both Tartaros and the gods in his heart, he returns to the past. Jafir wakes up in a cave, surrounded by half-naked men covered in dirt and sweat. They are relieved that they didn't kill him. The hero notices a brand on their bodies and immediately understands. He has traveled 10 years back, to when he was 20, to the time when he was a slave in the temple. One of the men warns him not to meddle in others' affairs, but Jafir has no fear of these scum. He recalls how, in the past, he defended a young boy who was being beaten by other slaves. Since these events happened 10 years ago, the details are hazy in his mind. But for now, the most important thing is to check the god's gift. Finding a secluded spot, Jafir chants the special incantation to activate it. What he sees pleasantly surprises him. Chapter 2. Jafir gradually adjusts to the reality the gods have sent him back to. He has received a unique gift, a vault of the best combat skills, including ones he never possessed before. The knowledge instantly fills his mind, but for now he is forced to work in the mines alongside other slaves. Some of them notice his quick and efficient work, hoping to recruit him into their team. However, Jafir hasn't fully grasped the extent of his new abilities yet. While lost in thought, the mine overseer assumes he's slacking off and tries to punish him with a whip, but things don't go as planned. Jafir catches the whip with his bare hands and returns it to its owner. Thanks to his combat experience, he can read every movement of his opponent and react instantly. But what surprises him even more is that the strike doesn't even leave a mark on his skin. This is due to his newly acquired ability, Iron Wall, which allows him to completely ignore any damage below his defense level and significantly increases his endurance. Realizing the potential of his new powers, Jafir starts formulating a plan for his next moves. At the end of the day, the slaves turn in the coal they've gathered, after which the work teams are ranked. Thanks to Jafir's efforts, his group takes first place. According to the mine's rules, the team in last place loses their food and money, which are then distributed among the top 3 groups. Afterward, all the slaves begin praying to the goddess Arya, but Jafir does not share their faith. The goddess of light, Arya, is one of the 3 great deities. She is the world's biggest creditor. Her temple has saved many people from death, but in return, it turns them into debtors, forcing them to work to their absolute limits. Jafir was once caught in this system too, and the slave brand on his body prevents him from leaving this place without permission. Otherwise, his heart will simply stop beating. He knows he must find a way out. At that moment, he remembers his beloved Althea and vows to do everything in his power to protect her this time. Later that evening at the bar, a young man Jafir had saved from a beating tries to thank him with a mug of beer. However, Jafir declines. During their conversation, he learns that the man was intentionally targeted so that his team would always place last. Ignoring his attempt at gratitude, Jafir instead turns to the bartender and asks to buy a healing potion. But with only 1.5 gold coins among his savings, he has to borrow the rest. The young man is shocked. Paying off debt is nearly impossible here. 1 gold coin is automatically deducted to cover previous debts, and a slave's wages barely allow them to survive. But Jafir isn't worried. He knows that drinking a large quantity of these potions can unlock a hidden effect, an increase in magical energy. Under normal circumstances, even dozens of potions wouldn't have a noticeable impact, but thanks to his new ability, Hermes' Secret, potion effectiveness is boosted by 500%. Realizing the mine won't allow him to get rich quickly, Jafir begins preparing for his next move. He tells the overseer that he's heard rumors about monsters deep within the mine and offers to join the hunting group to explore the area. His plan is to make money by hunting in the underground dungeons, using his newfound abilities to his advantage. Chapter 3. The mines have a strict rule. If slaves discover a new dungeon, a special hunting squad is immediately sent in. This squad consists of slaves with military experience or natural combat skills. Their main objective is to eliminate monsters that pose a threat to the world. Jafir can't understand why. Despite being an adventurer in his past life, he's been forced to work as a miner instead of being placed directly in the hunting squad. Looking for answers, he visits a shop but finds out he has maxed out his credit limit. At that moment, a nun approaches him, offering a new loan under the guise of kindness, but with an unusual condition. He must sign an agreement using his organs as collateral. Without a second thought, Jafir agrees and spends all the borrowed money on healing potions. Even the nun is surprised by his fearlessness and determination, calling him crazy before adding that maybe that's exactly how a real man should act. After downing all the potions, Jafir feels ready for new challenges. He joins a hunting squad assigned to explore the dungeon. There, he meets the squad commander, Goth, and his subordinates Dale and Mark. The latter two are new faces to him, but he's encountered Goth before in his previous reincarnation. Back then, after a similar mission, he was promoted to the hunting squad, while Dale and Mark lost their lives. Armed with this knowledge, Jafir decides to use the situation to his advantage. Upon arriving at the dungeon, the squad is met by a support team that hands out magical bracelets. If someone is in danger, the thread will snap as a distress signal. The squad then ventures deeper into the underground labyrinth until they come across their first group of monsters, kobolds. Using a clever tactic, the hunters throw a rock to distract the creatures before launching a surprise attack from behind, quickly eliminating them. Goth makes an interesting observation. The dungeon has been cleared before, but some monsters must have hidden in another passage and survived. He suggests that Dale and Mark keep this information from the main squad and handle it themselves. They hesitate, knowing it's risky, but the commander assures them he has a plan. He orders Jafir to take out actinidia fruits and leaves from his bag. When mixed with kobold excrement, they create a scent similar to a female's pheromones during mating season. The aroma instantly attracts a monster, luring it straight into the hunter's trap. The squad is impressed by this strategy, though in reality, the idea was entirely Jafir's. Knowing Goth from the past, he skillfully manipulated his desire for recognition. Jafir convinced the commander that he had already explored these caves, knew their dangers, and had personal experience dealing with kobolds. Goth was skeptical at first, but once Jafir played on his ambition, he immediately agreed. After successfully clearing the area, the squad celebrates, but their joy is short-lived. While exploring the cave, they come across a pile of bones. At first, they appear to be the remains of wild animals, but it soon becomes clear. They're kobold bones, and the creature responsible for this carnage doesn't take long to show itself. Without warning, it attacks Dale, grabbing him with a massive claw and slamming him into the wall. Mark tries to save the team by creating a magical barrier strong enough to withstand blows from orc chieftains, but the beast easily shatters the defense and sends him flying. Goth realizes he's next. In this critical moment, Jafir steps in, activating his Iron Wall ability. He takes the hit, but even his unique defense can't fully absorb the attack's force. It turns out the creature they're facing is a predator beast. These monsters disguise themselves as the young of other species to survive, only to devour their relatives once they mature. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Jafir takes Goth's spear and, unfazed, taunts the predator, asking which way it prefers to die. At that moment, he activates his third ability, preparing for the decisive strike.